Hello, welcome or welcome back to my crochet diaries. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how I made this mesh cap. If that sounds like fun, watch on. I'd also recommend checking out the free written pattern linked in the description. Firstly, let's talk about what materials and tools we'll need. I recommend using some sport weight yarn, a 50-gram ball will do, pair that with a 3mm crochet hook, scissors, a darning needle, optionally a stitch marker and some measuring tape. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'll be using a heavier yarn just so you're able to better see what I'm doing. To get started, make a magic ring. How I approach this is to wrap the yarn over my forefinger twice. Now I'll pick up the first loop up and over my second loop, and I'll pick my second loop up and over the end of my finger. By tugging on my working yarn, I can cinch my ring closed. I'll remove my finger from the ring I've made, and with the tail end of my yarn on the right hand side, I'll hook onto the working strand of yarn on the left and chain 2. That gets me to the height of a double crochet. Now I'll work 12 double crochet stitches into my magic ring. If you'd like, add a stitch marker to the first double crochet made. That helps signal which stitch you'll join into at the end of the round. Let's count these stitches to make sure we've got 12. Remember that the chain 2 does not count. To finish, I'll remove the stitch marker and work a slip stitch into the first double crochet to join the round. And that's round 1 completed. To start on round 2, I do a bit of a hack so that my rounds are seamless. I remove my hook and then I insert it back to front into the first stitch of the round. Then I hook onto the loop I've made and pull it through the stitch. For this row, I'll increase into every stitch, meaning I'll work 2 double crochet into each stitch to total 24 stitches in the round. Add a stitch marker in the second double crochet made if you'd like to keep track of where to join. Be sure to count your stitches. Nearing the end, let's join the round by slip stitching into the second double crochet made. For round 3, complete the hack to start, and increase into the current stitch. And in the next stitch, work a double crochet. Add a stitch marker back into the second double crochet made, and that's the repeating pattern for this round. Increase and work a single double crochet in the next stitch up until the second last stitch. I'm now up to the last stitch, and in it I'll work 3 double crochet to total 36 stitches in the round. To finish, join with a slip stitch into the second double crochet made. Begin round 4 with the same hack. The repeating pattern is to increase, and in the next 2 stitches work a double crochet. Add a stitch marker as needed to the second double crochet. I'm going to work ahead and meet you at the second last stitch. The total stitch count for this round will be 48. For the very last stitch, work an increase, so that means 2 double crochet, and finish the round by joining with a slip stitch into the second double crochet made. I'm going to start the round with my hack again and then follow the repeating pattern of an increase followed by working a double crochet in the next 3 stitches until the second last stitch. Here it is again, increase and a double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Almost forgot my stitch marker. Add that to the second double crochet made. So let's work with this pattern until the second last stitch and increase into the very last stitch. Slip stitch into the second crochet made to join the round, and you should total 60 stitches for round 5. Let's start round 6 by working our hack again and follow the repeating pattern of an increase and then a double crochet in the next 4 stitches. Add a stitch marker in as needed and continue to work with this pattern until the second last stitch. For the very last stitch, I'll work an increase and then join the round with a slip stitch into the second double crochet made. To start round 7, follow the same hack and, as you may have figured out by now, start with an increase and then a double crochet into the next 5 stitches. Work that pattern repeat until the second last stitch. And now in the last stitch, increase, and then join the round with a slip stitch into the second double crochet made. Now that was the last round where I'll work a solid stitch. From round 8 onwards, I'll be starting a mesh stitch. I start with the same hack, and now increase in the current stitch, chain 1 and skip the next stitch, and work 2 double crochet in the following stitch to create a space. So let's try that repeating pattern again, where we increase, chain 1 and skip 1 stitch. We should have 42 of these double crochet clusters for our rounds. Add a stitch marker to the second double crochet made if you'd like, and I'll work ahead with this pattern. To close the round, I'll work a slip stitch into the second double crochet made, as we've been doing the entire time. Now for rounds 9 to 16, I start by working a slip stitch into the next chain space. So now I can work 2 double crochet into the same chain space, followed by a chain 1. And then we repeat again, work 2 double crochet into the next chain space, followed by a chain 1. Add in a stitch marker to the second double crochet made if needed, and continue with this pattern for the rest of the round. To finish the round, slip stitch into the second double crochet made and repeat this pattern for an additional 7 rounds. I'm going to work ahead and meet you at the start of round 17. Okay, we've worked the bulk of the mesh cap and it's time to tighten it just a little so it doesn't slip off our heads for rounds 17 and 18. I start the round the same way with a double crochet into the chain space. However, I won't chain 1 and instead I'll go straight to working 2 double crochet into the next chain space. This is going to shape our cap inwards just a little. Repeat this pattern for the remainder of the round and join the round by slip stitching into the second double crochet made as we've been doing. Round 18 will be a repeat of the same pattern. However, after you've joined the round, you will just want to securely weave in your tail ends. I've actually lost some footage of me doing this. However, I'll link to another tutorial of mine where I demonstrate how you do this if you're unfamiliar. And that's how you'd approach making a mesh cap. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. You give it a try yourself. Happy stitching, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye!